until they bring the streetcars back. Chapter 30. The snow was melting all over the place and running down the sewers, and I loved to see spring come. Lola and I were spending more and more time together, but Gretchen was going downhill, and I tried to buck her up by telling her I'd get her away from her father soon. She'd been absent early in the week, but on Thursday she sat behind me. I was trying to memorize a stupid poem for Bellows class when I glanced up and saw Otto Letterman come in the side door of the auditorium and walk towards Miss Whaleman's table. He was here, in school, the one place I felt safe. I slouched in my seat and peered from behind my book, trying to decide what to do. Well, he stood there talking to the teacher. "It's my father," Gretchen whispered. Letterman turned and came up our aisle and headed right for me. I wanted to jump out of my seat and blast out of the backyard of the auditorium, but I couldn't move. Had he found out I was the kid he chased all over the neighborhood? I bent over the desktop and put my head down on my arms like I was sleeping, hoping Whaleman didn't spot me because sleeping in study wasn't allowed, and she'd holler my name. It felt like I was underwater, holding my breath and expecting a butcher knife plunged in my back any second. Under the seats, I could see his black shoes stopping at my row, leaving only two kids between me and the madman. Sweat was showing all over my body, and I just about made a break for it when Gretchen picked up her books and joined her father in the aisle. She followed him out the side door, and I straightened in my seat, and I was breathing like I'd run from Chicago. Did he recognize me? I vowed to swipe two or more cases on Saturday. I had to get him before he got me. Thursday night, we took on Monroe in the district tournament, and we played like we were running in wet concrete and had sawdust for brains. Mulligan jerked Jerry when he threw a bad pass, and he pulled Scott for traveling. Instead of our first step towards the state tournament, it was really embarrassing, and the coach began playing juniors as if to say, "To heck with you lousy seniors." Once during a timeout, I looked into the stands out of habit. I almost swallowed my Adam's apple. Letterman was sitting there with his eyeballs trained on me. Geez, he knew who I was. I couldn't think and I couldn't concentrate on the game, and I found myself sitting out most of the fourth quarter with the game still in the reach. After the game, I stuck to Jerry and Scott like bodyguards, and I kept an eye peeled for Letterman when he left the field house with the girls. We all felt pretty lousy for the way the game turned out, and we headed for home. Lola and I didn't talk much on the way, and I just held her, and I figured she thought I was feeling bad about the game, and I wanted to tell her the truth. After we took Lola home, I had Jerry drop me in the alley, and he didn't seem to think anything of it. I slipped in the back door and felt relieved to be home. When I was in bed, I kept seeing Letterman staring at me out of the bleachers, and I got up and peered out of my bedroom window. Gretchen wasn't in school Friday, and I was really scared for her. Why did he come and get her in the middle of study hall? Was he going to hurt her now that no cops showed up at his house? I wondered what I'd do if Gretchen never came back to class like Helga. When the last bell rang, I ducked out the locker room door behind school, avoiding my buddies, and I legged it over to university, a way I'd never gone. I took the university streetcar to Snelling and transferred there. Like a spy, I got off at Portland and bombed through the alleys all the way home. Lola and I walked to the Highland Theater that night and saw The Lady Takes a Sailor. We sat in the back and necked during the movie, and Lola snuggled up to me so cuddly that sometimes I'd realize my hand was up against her breast, and I forgot all about the movie. Criminy, once I almost jumped out of my seat when I thought I spotted Letterman off to one side in the theater, but it turned out only to be my imagination drawing boogeymen in the dark. I tried to forget about Gretchen and her father for a while, and I put my tongue into the nectar of Lola's mouth. Back at Lola's apartment, it was a different story. Mary Muldoon let us know she was up and on duty while Lola and I sat on the sofa in the front room. It became a game with us, adding to the excitement. I'd cuddle with Lola and linger with a long kiss, expecting her mother to appear at any second with a phony excuse to go to the kitchen. We had untangled and bolted up two or three times. Well, when she pulled that, and everything we did seemed more exciting under the nose of Lola's mother. "You're funny," Lola whispered. "I am. Sometimes you look at me like you've never seen me before, like you're going to eat me alive." "I like looking at you. Your little ears," I squeezed her ear, "and your bunny teeth." "Oh, don't look at my teeth. They're dumb." "No, they're not. They're cute. Like they're peeking at me." I looked at those two protruding teeth and her warm, wet lips, and I kissed her. The radio covered our sound, and for the first time, right inside her mother's barricades, I moved my hand over Lula's sweater and caressed her breast. I don't think I had dared if I wasn't for the goofy mood we were in and her mother acting like the FBI. Geez, Lola let me hold her breast for a minute and then pushed my hand away. My mother, she whispered. Holy cow, I was so excited I couldn't remember her name. With one eye cocked in the hallway, I was blowing fuses right under Mary Muldoon's nose. I had my hand under Lola's sweater on her bare back when her mother's voice came marching down the hall. Time to come to bed, Lola. I wanted to ask, can I come too? But instead I caught a streetcar for home. I realized I had forgotten all about Gretchen for a while, and I didn't understand why. But to touch Lola's breast was the most wonderful thing I'd ever imagined, and I hoped wasn't some kind of pervert or something, but I wanted to fondle them, to memorize them, to sleep with them, with my head nestled against them. On the way home, I dared sneak halfway up Goodrich from Fairview to spy on Gretchen's house and yard. Everything seemed normal, and the black Plymouth was parked at the curb. I shivered as I peered out of the shadows, and I hoped that Gretchen was all right. Then I turned and raced for home.